Hey everyone, let's continue our mod list. We're moving on to textures and environmental mods. The top 13 are the texture overhaul mods that we'll be using, and then after that, we'll be adding the rest. We're not going to focus on showing the base mods, however, the ones below we'll be taking a closer look at. These are the mods in the load order that I'll be using, so feel free to pause here and take a look, or go down to the description for the links. Next up are the environmental mods. These are also texture overhauls, and some do a little more. There are a few smaller mods at the bottom of the list that I've added, but I won't go over these since these are self-explanatory. I know the text is small, but you can go down and find these in the description. And just a reminder that the aforementioned base texture mods that we'll be using are enough to bring your Skyrim to graphical modern standards. Here they are on screen, and you can install them in this order as well. Most of them, except for Rudy's Miscellaneous HQ, have complex materials, which we've also added to our mod list. Regardless, whatever you decide to do, you can install all of them or just some of them. It's your game. Do whatever you want to do. Now let's get started. Northern Farmhouses adds a Nordic feel to villages across Skyrim with a new mesh to outdoor village related structures. 4K Farmhouse Fence completes the vibe with added 3D meshes to the fences, while Sky King Signs offers new HQ textures and meshes as well as collision. Photorealistic Farmhouses offers us immersive 4K textures, and in-ad banners updates all the banners in the game with fresh new ones and also adds some new ones that sway in the wind. JK Skyrim All-in-One adds very nice aesthetic add-ons to many cities and villages, while Shrubbery Symphony currently supports new high poly meshes for 9 different plants throughout Skyrim. Happy Little Tree is not only a replacer texture on certain wood assets, but it's also a vanilla tree replacer with good visuals and low performance cost. An immersive add-on to rivers, lakes, and ponds. Water Plants adds various underwater plants. They have a lily pad only version, which brings vibrancy to bodies of water. Mihail recently released a frog mod, which would go great with this one. As we begin to move away from structures and towards the great outdoors, here's one more look at a few different assets from Sky King Signs. High Quality Ivy is a standalone mod that replaces all the hanging ivy in-game and even comes with its own texture for certain assets. There are currently a few BOS add-on mods like HQ Ivy for Riverwoods Gate. These add-on mods are all ESL files. My favorite Nordic Stone Wall mod isn't compatible with HQ Ivy, since, like I mentioned, HQ Ivy comes with its own Nordic wall texture and mesh. However, you can place Nordic walls below HQ Ivy if you really want to have your cake and eat it too. This is the High Quality Ivy Nordic wall and a mod called My Road Signs Are Beautiful, which yes, they are. Probably the best road signs replacer. The Elderberry Bush is one of the plants replaced by Shrubbery Symphony. Skyrim 3D Rocks replaces rocks and boulders to appear more realistic. Tomatoes Landscape requires another great road replacer mod called Northern Roads, but you can simply install this one below Northern Roads to use tomatoes. Embers XD will primarily affect your camp and cooking flames, as well as burnt, ash logs, and ash. Origins of the Forest can look good, but it can be overwhelming to the eyes and your FPS. I've decided to go without it, but I'll show a few comparisons. Another BOS add-on for HQ Ivy, this one adds ivies to stumps and logs, while Pine Forest 4K replaces the texture of fallen trees in the forest. This is my first time using Skoglendi Grass mod, other than playing on a Rabbitjack mod list. I used Northern Grass or Tamarailic Grass for so long that I didn't feel the need, since I really like those. However, Skoglendi looks much more realistic. Origins of the Forest can be a heavy hit on your FPS, and even if your rig can handle it, it can be too much ground cover depending on the grass mod that you're using. Our water mod list is based on Realistic Waters 2, which is already installed in the Phoenix Flavour. But if your list doesn't have it, grab that too, and then add the rest of the mods. High Poly Pebbles is self-explanatory and just does what it says. However, Northern Shores is a sleeper hit. It might not seem much different than some of the other texture mods, but it really does blend landscape and textures well when transitioning into water bodies. Being an ESL file, Rin's Standing Stones has become a permanent fixture on many mod lists. Adding BENDr Standing Stones of Skyrim to the mix gives the starting area a much needed facelift. In my opinion, it looks much better. Before moving on to fauna, here is another important structure and mesh overhaul for forts in Skyrim. Forts of the old empire give the forts a little more pop and shows their age a bit better in my opinion. Fortified animated doors brings immersion and realism to the outer doors of most forts. And Forts of the Empire also offers interior textures for these forts as well. Moving on to fauna, I've been using Blubbo's various tree mods for a while now, and recently an all-in-one version was released, which I like to use with a few other tree mods that tend to play well together. So far, I haven't found any issues in the load order. Here's a combination of the tree mods we're using that can be seen here. Trees add-on adds various trees from Enderroll scattered throughout Skyrim for more diversity, while Overhaul adds over 370 new tree models to the game. The Alpine Forest of Whiterun Valley adds trees to the valley west of Whiterun. It is also focused on performance. Combined with Happy Little Trees, you shouldn't experience much of an FPS hit. Aspens Ablaze combined with Alpine Forest of Whiterun Valley gives the trees surrounding and in Whiterun a permanent autumn look by providing various shades of yellow and orange to all aspen trees in Skyrim. This mod makes the rift look amazing. Here are a few tree models added by Blubbos and Overhaul. Here in this view of the rift near Riften, notice the bark on the aspen. This texture and meshes are added by Overhaul. When we get to Whiterun and check out the aspen trees there, it's a huge visibility difference with and without Overhaul. Night Skies is an 8K stars and night skies retexture mod. Skygazer Moons adds a better glow to Skyrim's moons, and Moons and Stars fixes their celestial movements and phases through time across the night sky. Cloudy Skies is by far my favorite skies replacer. It works great with Obsidian Mountain Fog, which you can see rolling up the mountain in the distance. I could literally stare at the sky for minutes at a time, which I did while capturing footage. So let's do that together. Finally, we reach our snow and texture overhaul. Simplicity of snow gives the snow on surfaces the appearance that it's behaving like actual snow, where it's less pronounced in certain places, specifically stairs, under roofs, and even on top of sloped roofs. Here's a different vantage point where you could notice the bigger difference, especially on the roofs. We'll be using 4 mods to cover the icy northern wastelands: Icy Remesh, Real Ice and Snow, and Real Ice Remastered. We'll take care of glaciers and ice flows. You won't need to use the popular mod 3D Ice Flows, as Riz already adds a 3D mesh to floating ice flows with a lot more detail and realism. Also, they look better. I always found the 3D ice flows look a little dirty. Lastly, crystal clear frozen lakes and ponds take care of retexture and meshes of frozen bodies of water while also adding a little more detail around the edges of ice, similar to the floating ice flows. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like and a comment if you found this useful. Until next time, peace.